The team looks slow, but nobody can quite explain why. Sprints take longer than they should, calls get rescheduled, simple decisions need 3 follow-ups before anything moves. And when that happens, the natural instinct is to look at the work. Is the sprint too full? Is the team overloaded? Is someone unclear? Do we need better process? Do we need more urgency? And sometimes, sure, one of those things can be true, but often the people are talented, the effort is real, nobody is coasting, and still something keeps dragging. That's when I'd stop looking only at the work and start looking at the decisions underneath it. Because decisions don't disappear just because the meeting ended. They travel. An unfinished decision from 3 weeks ago can sit inside today's sprint. It can make a simple call slower than it needs to be. It can make someone check before acting, not because they lack confidence, but because ownership is still fuzzy. It can make a handoff feel heavier because the person receiving the work still doesn't know what was actually decided upstream. That is decision load. Decision load is the invisible weight of choices the system never fully closed. And it is easy to miss because it hides inside normal work. A task backlog is visible. A decision backlog is not. People keep moving, but with extra checks, partial commitments, side conversations, and workarounds. By the time execution slows down, the original open decision can be hard to see. All you see is the team taking longer, but underneath they may be carrying decisions that were discussed, announced, or assumed, but never truly closed. That matters because every decision adds a little drag to everything that follows it. One person fills the gap with caution, another fills it with speed, another fills it with an assumption. The team may look coordinated from the outside, but each person is acting from a slightly different version of the decision. That's where rework starts. And that's where follow-ups multiply. That's where a simple work starts taking twice as long. And after a while, the slowdown begins to look like a performance problem. Leaders push harder, they ask for more urgency, they add another check-in, they tighten the timeline. But pushing harder while decisions stay half open usually makes the mess worse. People move faster, but not necessarily in the same direction. The better move is to reduce the decision load, and that doesn't need to be complicated. A useful first step is to map the decision from the last month that never formally closed. Not every decision, just the ones people are still circling, the ones that keep coming back in Slack, the ones that require repeated clarification, the ones that make people pause before acting, the ones where nobody can quite say who owns the call. That list is usually shorter than people expect, and often closing 2 or 3 of those decisions changes how the whole system feels, because the team is not just getting an answer, they're getting relief from carrying the open loop. One of the fastest ways to find decision load is to ask, what are people still checking before they act? Every unnecessary check usually points back to a decision that was discussed, announced, or assumed, but never fully closed. Someone is checking whether the old priority still matters. Someone is checking whether the timeline still holds. Someone is checking whether the founder still agrees. Someone is checking whether they are allowed to make the call. Those checks look small, but across a team, they become expensive. They drain attention, they slow handoffs, they make people cautious, and after enough of them, uncertainty starts to feel normal. That is one of the deeper costs of decision load. It doesn't only slow execution, it changes how people interpret new work. Even a clear new decision can land inside a system that no longer trusts closure. People are not only judging the call in front of them, they're protecting themselves from the pattern behind it. So the work of rebuilding speed is not just about asking people to move faster. It's about restoring confidence that decisions will actually hold. Here's a simple way to start. In your next recurring review, add a short decision sweep. Ask, what's still open? Who owns the close? By when? What trade-off has to be named? And where does this decision need to be recorded so the team can actually use it? Keep it light. This shouldn't become a second committee. Before the meeting ends, one person owns the call, the trade-off is named, the team knows what stops, starts, or changes tomorrow, and the decision gets recorded where the work already lives. That's enough to remove a lot of drag, because once a decision is carried structurally, people no longer have to carry it emotionally. They don't have to keep checking tone, history, or who might reopen it. They can see the owner. They can see the trade-off. They can see what changed, and they can move. So if your team seems slower than it should, do not assume the first answer is more effort. Ask what they are carrying. How many decisions from last month are still open? Which choice is never fully closed? Where is ownership still fuzzy? What are people still checking before they act? That's often where the decision load is sitting. And once you close a few of those loops, capable people stop looking stuck. Not because they suddenly started trying harder, because the system finally stopped making them carry yesterday's unfinished decisions into today's work. That's exactly the kind of pattern the Hidden Drag Diagnostic is built to surface. It helps you see where decisions, ownership, alignment, structure, and unresolved trade-offs are slowing your business down. It takes about 7 to 10 minutes, and you'll find the link in the description. And oh, by the way, it's free. And if your leadership team has talented people who still seem slower than they should, connect with me. I help founder-led teams find the decision load underneath that drag and close the open loops that keep slowing execution. If this was useful, subscribe for more practical thinking on decision velocity, hidden drag, and how leadership teams get unstuck. And be sure to share it with someone whose team looks slow, even though you know the people are capable. Be sure to follow along for more. My name is Warren Wanowski. Thanks for watching.